there's been so much going on around with celebrities. I believe Ezra Miller is one of them. Let's go film court. How's everybody doing? This is your host on the air, the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Codo, aka Codoman, and we are here for another episode of Codo Cinema. So, if you heard that right, Ezra Miller, yes, because Ezra Miller has been the talk of the town just lately throughout 2022, starting at the end of March and now going through. We're about halfway through the end of June, and now we've been hearing rumors that, not just rumors, but also like confirmation that Ezra Miller probably won't be able to continue his role as the Flash after his solo film comes out in 2023, or if the filmmakers, well, or should I say Warner Brothers, decides to fire Ezra Miller and push the film back to 2024. However, I did hear that yes, Ezra Miller was reported to not. Ezra Miller won't be appearing as the Flash for future films after the solo film comes out in 2023. So, but anyway, going ahead, Ezra Miller has. I will say this: Ezra Miller has been literally been the talk of the town lately, ever since like his earlier controversies. Like one controversy where Ezra Miller was choking on this one fan, and this was back in 2020 on April 6th, where a video surfaced, and it has been deleted from Twitter, where it appeared that Ezra Miller was choking a woman and throwing her to the ground. Now this was taking place in Iceland, according to Variety, and somehow Ezra Miller was with one of his bodyguards, and at one point some people thought Ezra Miller was just playing around with this woman. But when you hear like quotes from the bodyguards, "Whoa, dude," that's not a good sign. And from the video back in 2020, it really happened. Like Ezra Miller did try, or should I say, did choke a woman out. But that wasn't the only controversy. Back in 2011, while Ezra was filming The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Miller was a passenger in a vehicle that was pulled over in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for a broken brake light. Somehow the police discovered 20 grams of marijuana in Miller's possession. He was charged with drug possession, but the charges were later dropped and Ezra Miller faced a penalty of $600 for 2 citations of disorderly conduct. Now, this was back in 2011, and that was like his first ever incident that I heard. 2011, and now a decade later, he got involved in a choking incident. Well, almost a decade later, according to April 6th of 2020, so that's almost a decade. And I'm just surprised that Ezra Miller's career was still going prior to that, because the controversy I'm hearing now, that's going to be a career ending. That's going to be a career ending moment for Ezra, because there's a lot to, because there was a lot of incidents that happened in 2022 for Ezra Miller, but Just to give a little background about Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller, or should I say Ezra Matthew Miller, was born on September 30th, 1992. Ezra is an American actor. He made his film debut in After School, followed by We Need to Talk About Kevin, including The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which starred Logan Lerman and Emma Watson. Now the first time I heard about Ezra Miller, it was it was basically for The Flash, when The Flash made a cameo appearance at Batman vs. Superman, but also, surprisingly enough, also appeared in the comedy film Trainwreck, which starred Amy Schumer. That moment between Ezra Miller and Amy Schumer became a train wreck. But anyway, Ezra Miller would later go on to play Credence Barebone in the Harry Potter spin-off Fantastic Beasts. Ezra appeared in all 3 Fantastic Beasts films, and the latest Fantastic Beasts film came out in April of 2022. And of course, Ezra Miller starred in the 2020 miniseries The Stand, which was based on a Stephen King book, as Donald Merwin Trashcan Man Albert. So those were some of the roles that Ezra Miller was involved in. So Ezra Miller has been getting some pretty decent roles throughout his acting career. Now, most obviously, Ezra Miller's most famous role is The Flash. And now here's the thing. I know a lot of people have different thoughts and opinions on the casting of superheroes. I mean, I do as well, but at one point, I thought Ezra Miller as The Flash, Barry Allen, The Flash, I thought he was okay. But after hearing of what is going on right now, the role, I'm sorry to say this, but the role did not age well for him. Because here's the thing. Many people are looking forward to the Flash solo film, but as I mentioned, with all the controversy surrounding Ezra Miller, I don't think this film is in limbo right now. And Warner Brothers is facing tough choices right now, but they don't want to comment on anything, which is also a bad sign, because Warner Brothers, the same studio that also released Fantastic Beasts, fired Johnny Depp from the 3rd film over the falsely accused allegations that Johnny Depp went through, because Amber Heard falsely accused Johnny Depp of falsely accusing Johnny Depp for domestic abuse, which is also a bad sign. And by the way, I am also aware of the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard case as well. But long story short, Johnny Depp won the case just a couple of weeks ago, so I know that. But now Ezra Miller. Now it's Ezra Miller's turn. But as of now, Ezra Miller is on the run. So that is also another problem. Because Ezra Miller as the Flash and Credence Barebone has been his top 2 roles. But also, not to mention, the reason why Warner Brothers... One of the reasons why Warner Brothers doesn't want to comment on this is because Ezra Miller is following the politics of basically Ezra Miller is non-binary, and the studio believes like, oh, Ezra Miller is non-binary, we're not going to fire him, but yet the Warner Brothers fired Johnny Depp over false allegations because Johnny Depp's a man, which is basically a double standard. Which is a double standard because, like I said, Warner Brothers firing Johnny Depp for false allegations because Warner Brothers wanted to go into the all women thing, but yet they kept Ezra Miller on board, and yet Ezra Miller has been in several incidents like choking a woman, getting arrested twice in Hawaii, and now grooming 2 12-year-old girls. No, really. No, really, Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller groomed two 12-year-old girls, and those were like the latest incidents that Ezra Miller has been in, and now Ezra Miller is on the run. And my goodness, that is not a good sign. Because now here's the thing. I mean, Ezra Miller in the past, like Ezra Miller's past roles, like in Suicide Squad 2016, the Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I thought Ezra Miller was okay. And once Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, I thought it would be the moment that, is this the Flash that we're going to get in the 2023 Flash film? Because if so, that's great. Because that could be something that I'll be looking forward to. But with an incident like the choking incident, I don't know. That's gonna be rough. That's gonna be rough. But you know, sometimes like controversies like that do die down. But like I said, we got more controversy on Ezra Miller, which is not good. So I'm gonna go off the list of controversies from 2022 as of basically as of now. So on March 28th, 2022, Miller was arrested in Hawaii following an alleged physical altercation with patrons after having hurled obscenities at clients at a karaoke bar, and was charged with disorderly conduct and harassment. And yet, April 19th, 2022, Miller was taken into custody for second-degree assault in Hawaii as well, for allegedly throwing a chair which hit a 26-year-old woman and left a half-inch cut on her forehead after being told to leave during a private get-together. And Miller had been arrested 20 minutes after the attack during a traffic stop at the intersection of Highway 130, and this is in Hawaii, by the way. And just hours after this second arrest, within weeks, Miller pleaded no contest to the karaoke incident and was fined $500 for disorderly conduct by Judge Kanani Labak. And these were two different incidents in Hawaii, and that started a trend on Ezra Miller's future as the Flash. But as I mentioned, they still kept Ezra Miller on board. But there was more incidents. There was an article that just came out. There was an article that just came out a couple of days ago from Deadline, where Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav is the CEO for the Warner Brothers Discovery. And now Zaslav is being faced with tough decisions. And to quote the title of the article, Zaslav's first movie crisis: what to do with Ezra Miller, the erratic star of Warner Bros. $200 million Flash franchise launch. Let me say that again. Zaslav's first movie crisis: what to do with Ezra Miller, the erratic star of Warner Bros. $200 million Flash franchise launch. Okay, so anyway, obviously the Flash is becoming Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav's first movie crisis because of the escalating coverage of incidents of volatile and odd behavior involving the film star Ezra Miller. Now, there have been several sources covering this, including Ryan Kinol from RK Outpost, which is a YouTube channel. Shout out to RK Outpost. Ryan Kinol from RK Outpost. Shout out to him, and he's been covering that incident as well. Huge shout out to him. And now we got other articles and sources too, including Deadline. And Zaslav has made clear about the desire to grow the DC universe to similar to what the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been doing, which definitely will have the Flash be one of them, including the return of Michael Keaton as Batman, along with Ben Affleck reprising his role as Batman, Bruce Wayne as well. And the budget is $200 million, with a hot director in Andy Machete, And now, there is also other news that Warner Bros. Discovery CEO exercised his well-known penchant for micromanagement by declining to greenlit Wonder Twins for being too niche. And now Zaslav will have to make a decision of what to do with the completed picture that is The Flash. Now, The Flash has been in development hell for a while. It came up as an idea in the 1980s, and yet in the early 2000s, they were trying to get the film made with multiple directors. They had to go back and forth between multiple directors. Some directors included Phil Lord and Chris Miller, Robert Zemeckis, Sean Levy, including other directors as well. I mean, there's so many directors to name off, but Sean Levy, Robert Zemeckis, Phil Lord, and Christopher Miller, they've been some of their top choices to direct a Flash film. Even Ben Affleck himself as well, but Ben Affleck declined to direct the Flash film. So anyway, there are a few decisions that Zaslav has to make. Among them, and I quote, he can pull back on heavily promoting the summer 2023 film, confining it to some P&A and no publicity tour, or he could relegate it to streaming with HBO Max and take a write-down, or lean in toward making the movie a hit and then drop Miller if they can't straighten things out. Warner Bros. Did that when it dropped Johnny Depp from the Grindelwald character in the Fantastic Beasts franchise, after the actor's well-publicized, unsuccessful UK lawsuit. The studio replaced Johnny Depp with Mads Mikkelsen as the character of Gellert Grindelwald. And to point out another quote, there is no winning in this for Warner Brothers. One studio source tells us, this is an inherited problem for Zaslav. The hope is that the scandal will remain at a low level before the movie is released, and hope for the best to turn out. Now, I will say this. I mean, let's hope for the best to turn out. That is a good way, but I do have to agree on one thing. There is no winning for Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers has made some of the dumbest decisions they have ever made. And this also includes the interference of the DC extended universe. Like, they interfere so much with Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad 2016, even the Justice League film as well. And now The Flash, because they want to keep Ezra Miller on board despite all the controversy that's going on. And yet, they removed Johnny Depp from Fantastic Beasts over false allegations. That is not a good move, because here's the thing about Johnny Depp. We all know that Johnny Depp had mountains of evidence to prove that he wasn't the abuser. It was Amber Heard. But in the UK declined to look at the evidence. But at least in the US, they were able to bring out the evidence, because the entire court case was streamed live for the US. But anyway, oh my goodness. I mean, I don't know how to describe the rest of this, because I'm looking forward to the Flash film. I mean, seeing Michael Keaton again as Batman, including Ben Affleck. Heck, even another Flash. We're getting another Flash as well, because there are borrowing elements from the Flashpoint comic book storyline, which is pretty cool, but in a different spin. But the thing is, Warner Brothers has got to make a decision. I mean, they have to. They cannot hide. They have to make the decision about the Flash film. I mean, even if they did push the film back to let's just say they push it to 2024, that means they'll probably get a new actor playing the Flash, and they'll have to reshoot the entire film, or maybe just the scenes that involved the Flash. I mean, that could be the entire film. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much screen time the Flash appears in the upcoming Flash film. I don't know. I mean, all we got was a teaser trailer. Anyway, going back to the controversies, aside from the two Hawaii incidents, Ezra Miller has been in two different grooming incidents. The most notably is the parents of an 18-year-old named Dakota Iron Eyes just recently filed paperwork asking a judge to issue an order of protection against the actor on behalf of their child, saying Miller groomed and brainwashed Dakota. That is not a good sign, and I'm going to keep going on this because to quote this article, Ezra uses violence, intimidation, threat of violence, fear, paranoia, delusions, and drugs to hold sway over young adolescent Dakota. Read the filing, which was obtained by multiple outlets. And then there was a video that was posted on Instagram where Dakota was defending Miller. Okay, now there's more double standards around here. I mean, I don't know if I want to continue with this because this is disgusting. This is literally disgusting because Ezra Miller's got problems. I mean, I don't know if it's a mental health issue or if Ezra Miller is just crazy. I mean, I'm assuming it's gonna be both because Ezra Miller's probably got mental health issues and being crazy. Because Ezra Miller thinks, with everything that I'm doing, everything that Ezra Miller is doing right now, just because Ezra Miller is famous, he gets to do whatever he wants, and then Warner Brothers not firing Ezra Miller because Ezra Miller's got the right politics of being non-binary. And look, here's the thing. I respect everybody. I respect everybody's sexuality. That's your business, not my business. But just because someone has that type of sexuality, that doesn't mean like, hey, that doesn't mean, hey, you're not gonna leave this world because studios nowadays, because I'm pretty sure studios like Warner Brothers nowadays believe that hey, they want to focus more on the woke agenda rather than like telling an actual story. And that's the thing. They focus so much on woke agenda that they forget they're trying to tell an entertaining story. And that's making it worse for films that are coming out now. And as for Ezra Miller, I mean, look, either Ezra Miller, I'm pretty sure Ezra Miller is going to have to turn Ezra Miller's got to turn himself in because this is not looking good unless they get a SWAT team or an army to hunt down Ezra Miller, or a manhunt, I should say. They're gonna have to do a manhunt on Ezra Miller because Ezra Miller has deleted his entire Instagram account, so like deleting everything, so now they can't track down Ezra Miller. Especially with the fact that now Dakota Iron Eyes, and if that's the name of this girl that's defending Ezra Miller. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, Dakota is defending Ezra Miller, which is, I'm sorry to say this, that sounds so disgusting. I don't know. I mean, this is bad. This is really bad. And not only that, another a woman and her 12-year-old child were also granted a temporary harassment prevention order against Miller after the latter allegedly threatened their family and showed inappropriate behavior towards the child. According to the woman and child, Miller, who was originally visiting a neighborhood, showed up to the family's house unexpectedly while wearing a bulletproof vest and brandishing a gun before pestering the child by uncomfortably touching their hips. I'm not going to read that quote again. I'm not going to read that quote back. If you want to know more about this, if you want to know more about this, you better look that up yourself. Because, man, I'm not gonna lie. Here, it's like hearing Ezra Miller. It's like first Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, and now Ezra Miller. I mean, well, it is true. Amber Heard is a part of the DC extended universe, so DC and Warner Brothers, they're in trouble, but this is mostly coming from Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers has been holding back so much. they've been holding back so much and alienating everything, including the fan base, and everything. Basically everything. Basically everything. Now, granted, Warner Brothers did have their fair share of right decisions, like where they decided to release Zack Snyder's actual vision of Justice League, which actually turned out to be pretty good. And FYI, Justice League has been probably one of my favorite movie topics I talked about on my show for Codo Cinema. So there's that. But anyway, yes, the future for Ezra Miller is not looking good. It's not looking good for Ezra Miller. I mean, it's making it worse. It not only is it making it worse for the film, but also the people involved with this film. And when I mean people, I'm talking about all the other actors, the crew members, even the studio themselves. Like I said, the studio themselves are holding back. They're pretending that this didn't happen. Like, oh no, Ezra Miller did nothing wrong. Ezra Miller is a good guy. I mean, come on. Has Warner Bros. Seen these outlets? I mean, I'm pretty sure they probably have, but have not yet made a decision. And now they're putting David Zaslav on the line, trying to make a decision. And I got a feeling, in my opinion, it will probably go down. In two ways. One, they're probably gonna have to reshoot the entire film with a different actor. Probably push it back to 2024, add in millions and more dollars to it. It'll probably double the budget, I believe, if that's ever gonna happen. Or put it on HBO Max. I'm going to assume they'll put it on HBO Max. They probably will. They probably will. I mean, they probably will, because as much as I want to see The Flash making a lot of money at the box office, that may or may not happen, because Ezra Miller right now has gone off the rig. But anyway, that's all I have for this film topic. I will say this has been a very tough topic for today's episode. Now, I will admit I have discussed different topics within film, like different movies. Like I talked about actors, behind the scenes stories, or certain scenes. That's so. But this is probably one of my big topics because of hearing what's going on now with Ezra Miller is bad, and that's the reason why I want to bring this topic up for this episode. So anyway, what are your thoughts? First of all, shout out to the outlets, including Deadline, for also covering the Zaslav decision, including what the future will hold in store for Ezra Miller. And shout out to Ryan Kendall from RK Outpost YouTube channel for also covering the Ezra Miller incidents as well. But what do you all think? What do you all think about this incident? I mean, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts, and if I miss out on anything that is related to the Ezra Miller situation, please let me know. Please let me know. Comment below if you're listening on the Podbean website, or if you are going through my Facebook page and Instagram page. Please comment below, and also keep the comments a bit positive if I miss out on anything. Thank you, and I appreciate that. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in to Codo Cinema. This topic of film is called Film Court, as I like to call it, because incidents like this, where an actor or a certain film that gets in trouble with controversies, or a film that goes so far it goes to court. I like to call it Film Court, because it is so full of controversies from different films, whether it's related to behind-the-scenes stories or actors. Thank you all for tuning into Codo Cinema. I'm your host, Mark Codo, aka Codoman. Remember to watch movies and stay positive.